Hello and welcome back. This is Arnold Height with 3 Talents Marketing, continuing the video series on setting up branded email hosting with Google. In the last video, we went through the process of setting up an account with Google Apps and got you signed up for a standard account. In this video, we are going to verify that you own the domain that you registered with Google Apps. So the first thing you're going to want to do is open up a web browser. And hopefully you've bookmarked the page to log into your Google Apps accounts as recommended in the last video. If not, you should have an email with a link to the Google Apps login page, so go ahead and find either your bookmark or get into your email and find the link to where you can log in there. So when you go to sign in, you're just going to use the username of the primary email address that you use to create your account. So my name was just Arnold. You don't need to use the domain, the @domain account, just the username, and then go ahead and put in the password that you created with that account, and then click on the sign in button. So at this point, what we're going to want to do is verify our domain ownership. Now this just means that Google wants to make sure that you've registered your domain as a valid internet domain and that you can modify that domain. So if you go ahead and click on this Verify Domain Ownership link, it will ask you, how do you want to verify? Well, we don't really have a FTP site or any place they can upload a file, so we're just going to go ahead and change our CNAME record. And this is where I will show you how to go back to GoDaddy.com and modify this record. So if you go back to your Squidoo article, you can right click and do Open GoDaddy.com in a new tab. And this is where you will fill out the username and password that you created when you registered your domain, or if you already had one, go ahead and look that up and get yourself logged in. Now once you're logged in, we need to get over to the domain manager. So if you put your mouse over the domains here and click on My Domains, it will pop open in a new window the domain manager. You can also get to that over here under My Products Domains Domain Manager, whichever way you feel comfortable with. And then what you will do is locate the domain that you have recently registered or that you want to use with Google Apps, that you've registered with Google Apps. Click on that and it'll take you to this main page where you will see all the different tools that you can use on this domain for the purposes of what we're doing here. Locate total DNS control and MX records and click on that link. And this is a handy little control panel that GoDaddy gives to you in order to manage all of the different parts of your DNS for your domain. Like if you wanted to redirect your www account or your email or these different things. For today's purposes, what we need to do is locate this link over here on the right hand side that says Add New CNAME Record. So we will click on that, and the record we want to add is this long, interesting, not real user-friendly URL that Google has given us. So go back over to your Google, drag your mouse over this, highlight it, right click on it here, and then left click on copy. And go back over to your DNS control panel where it says enter the alias name. Left click there to select it, right click and choose paste with your left mouse button, and it says where do you want it to point to, and that's where you want to do point the CNAME record to google.com. So you can either click here and highlight this, right click and left click on copy, and then again click here to select, right click and paste, or you can just type google.com in. Either way, it's going to get us to where we need to be. So then click OK to create that record. So you should get a message that says new record successfully created, and click OK there, and you are done with that piece. Now once that has been completed, if you go back over to Google Apps, you will note that it says once you've made the change, you can verify that the record exists by using a utility to look up this particular record on the internet. So when you create a DNS record, it takes time for that record to propagate over the internet, so that all the DNS servers throughout the World Wide Web have received that change and are notified of it, so that when you put that record in, you get a valid response back. Generally, this is going to take anywhere from a couple of hours to a couple of days. It's generally a couple of hours depending on your DNS service. Using GoDaddy, I've found that it's usually rather quick that this change propagates. But if you go back over to your Squidoo article, we'll scroll down in this article a little bit further. I believe I have a free DNS utility. About halfway down through the article, you'll see a link that says free DNS utility. Right click on that and left click on open a new tab or open a new window. And this is a utility that I found that is absolutely free. If you go back to your Google Apps, if you haven't already done so, go ahead and highlight this link, right click on it and left click on copy. Then we'll come back over to the free DNS utility and right click and paste that in there, and go to the beginning of the URL. What I just did there was hit the home button on my keyboard, or you can use the arrow key to arrow all the way back over. You want to get rid of the HTTP : so it's just the string that Google gave you and your domain name that you registered. And that all filled out here on the page, go ahead and click on Go. You will see the results for the CNAME record listed here, and underneath the Google ads you will see that it did in fact create that record, and it is showing up on the DNS servers. So this utility is seeing it. Whether Google Apps is seeing the change has been made yet or not, I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and go back over to our Google Apps tab and click on Verify. And you'll see this note up here where it says, we are checking domain ownership. This may take 48 hours to complete. So even though we've created the CNAME record and verified that with our utility, it could still take Google Apps up to 48 hours to go ahead and check that and make sure it's complete. What you can do is sign out here and then go ahead and sign back in. Just a note on signing into Google Apps, hopefully you took a moment to bookmark this page so that you can get back to it. If not, you should have an email in your inbox with a welcome letter and a link to get back to this page. So make sure you have that available. One note is when you sign in, just use the name, not the domain address, because you'll see they have that listed down here. So you just click on or put in your name and then put in the password that you assign to it. You can have your computer remember me if you like. Let's go ahead and cancel that for now. That's a password utility I use to keep track of various different passwords that I use for the many sites that I use online, in case you were wondering about that. So now that we've come back to our Google Apps control panel, let's go ahead and click on email and see that in fact they have verified our account already and it's ready to go. Okay, so that concludes this step in setting up your Google Apps account. In the next video I will show you how to activate your email so that email will start coming into your new account.